has the exposure to Square Enix and Final Fantasy and the RPG genre that they have given us as gamers, has it allowed you to play other ones or like be curious about playing other ones? And if so, what's one of the non Square Enix RPGs you've played, if any?
Yeah, so when I was younger, I remember playing. I don't know who the developer was. Maybe it might have been Square. I don't know, but I remember playing Fantasy Star when I was a kid.
Mm, okay.
Just fun fact. Fantasy Star. I think it was number 4 when it came out. I was an elementary kid listening to Casey and JoJo. On repeat in the background, thinking about Tammy Preston, who was my childhood crush, and like, so I'm sitting here playing like I'm naming the characters after us, and I was like, this is our love story. I was such a fucking nerd. Um, so Fantasy Star, Fantasy Star was definitely one of them. And although listen, I know people are gonna be like, "This is not a fucking RPG. What the fuck are you talking about?" To me, when I'm talking about those protagonists and stuff like that, I don't know if I hadn't been a Final Fantasy lover, I don't know if I would have gotten into any kind of like action role playing type games, and so I don't know if I would have ever played the Uncharted franchise. And I know that's more like a
Okay.
third person action game, but you really live vicariously through Nathan Drake, and
Hmm.
that's my favorite. It's kind of a cop out because I'm like, Last of Us is my favorite video game, but like my favorite video game franchise is Uncharted. Like I love Uncharted, man. I have on right here on my wrist, I have Sic Parvis Magna, which is stands for greatness from small beginnings, which is the quote from the first Uncharted game. And so I don't know if I would have ever introduced myself because I was a big sports game guy
Hmm.
growing up, and
Hmm.
and I think that because I loved Final Fantasy, I started to want more story out of my video games, and that led me to franchises like Uncharted, um, Horizon Zero Dawn, The Last of Us, things like that that I know aren't traditional RPG games, but Final Fantasy kind of opened the door for me for those. So if shout out to this if you haven't ever played Uncharted. It is a fantastic video game franchise, and if you we talk about a lot of like men's mental health with our content and stuff like that.
Hmm.
If you're a guy and you want to I don't know, get a sense of motivation to be a hero, like Nathan Drake in Uncharted gives that to you, and then he ends his story arc being a dad, and how protecting his family and things like that. And just it's a great storyline. So I shout out to Uncharted. So that would be my answer for that. A little bit of a cop out. I know it's not a traditional RPG, but that's what I got for you.
So it's funny that you say cop out because I think like and maybe not to like the element of the genre itself, like what has been defined as an RPG role playing game. But I think if any type of game that you're playing is a role playing game, because you are serving a role, you are
Yeah.
embracing a role, and your role is you're the player. You are the player, whether it's even like Call of Duty, right? Call of Duty is known for being this massive multiplayer online juggernaut. It is a role playing game because you're serving a role of you're playing this guy, you're playing as this character, and you're aiding your team and completing objectives to win the game, and you're leveling up. There is a progression system. So I think, in a way, every game is a role playing game, and I might be looking at the whole genre with like rose colored glasses, but I think you play a role in every game that you play. So I don't think that's a cop out. I think it's a great answer, especially like you can relate it to like heavy single player narrative driven games. You immerse yourself in that character, you immerse yourself in playing through that story, and you're playing the role of Nathan Drake or you're playing the role of Joel or Ellie. So I totally, yeah, I think that's a completely valid answer. Now, in the more traditional sense of RPG or JRPG, Final Fantasy was definitely my first exposure to the genre as a whole. But yeah, Final Fantasy led me to gems like Chrono Trigger. If it wasn't for Final Fantasy, I would have, probably have never even explored a lot of these older titles. I think Clair Obscur I would have played regardless because it's a newer RPG and I still love RPGs where I'm at right now. But I don't think my love for Final Fantasy and like kind of doing a deep dive into the whole genre and like the roots of it, I don't think I would have ever played games that were older like Chrono Trigger or I just finished Bravely Default, which is I think it's a Square Enix title. But that came out on the 3DS in like 2012. That game's almost 20 years old. So, I don't think I would have ever like appreciated what came before if I didn't have the appreciation from what I've been exposed to since I was young. And there's still a laundry list of games and series that I want to explore, like the Xeno series or like the Persona series or the Shin Megami Tensei or I'm just a big RPG nerd and I want to like a self accomplishment type of thing for me would be to play through as many of them as possible just because I feel like I owe it to the genre to be as well educated on the topic as possible in case there's anybody out there who's ever interested or intimidated by trying to play an RPG. You can kind of make
Yeah.
the best recommendation for them to enter that world because I think it is a very it is a very beautiful world. These stories that are crafted and these hours and hours that go into development. You could lose yourself in a video game for sure, and I do appreciate that.